For this video, we're staying on the sheet called functions, and now we're going to look at using the average function. We're going to see that once there is something in the way of where we want the answer and the cells we want to calculate, Excel will get it wrong. So this is where we really start to do some work. If necessary, click onto cell A10 and type in the heading Average. Press the Tab key to move one cell to the right. To carry out the average, this time we click on the down arrow of the AutoSum button and select Average. When we look at our figures, we can see that Excel has automatically highlighted cells B4 to B9. Excel is programmed that when you select these functions, it automatically highlights whatever figures it finds above the starter cell. We can see that it has also selected the total in cell B9, which is incorrect. We never bring in a total into an average. We have to remember that Excel has no brain. It is programmed to grab all figures above, which it has done. Our job is firstly to make sure that we pick the right function, which we have. Then secondly, to make sure the right cells are being calculated, which they are not. Now, because this is a very small amount of data, we can simply reselect by clicking onto cell B4 and dragging as far as B8, which corrects it. However, let's reselect that again, putting it back to the way it was, B4 to B9, because in a real-life scenario, this selection could be hundreds or even thousands of cells, and if that was the case, it would be way too time-consuming to use the mouse to reselect. What we can do is click to the right of the B9 in the formula bar and press the backspace key to remove the 9. Now, when we do that, Excel drops down this list of functions that begin with the letter B. It's just trying to be helpful. Ignore it and type in the number 8 so that it reads the average of B4 to B8. Once we're happy it's correct, we can click on the tick to accept it. Each of these columns of figures are structured identically, so we can now use the fill handle to copy the calculation to the other columns. And if this first calculation is correct, which it is, then the others have got to be correct. It is important to understand that when we select these automatic functions, such as sum or average, Excel is programmed to look up from the starter cell, or reference point as it's properly called, and to grab any figures above. Excel has no brain. Once there is something in the way of where we want the answer and the cells that we want to calculate, like the total cell, then Excel will get it wrong. Our job is to make sure that Excel is calculating the correct cells. Our next topic will introduce the max function. If you're moving on to that next video called How to Use the Max function, then you can keep this workbook open.